All right. Hello, everyone. Super excited. Actually, I want to grab that thing looking what's on my couch. Sorry, today's stream's oop, not what I was planning on doing. Actually, I forgot to hook up one more cable. Let me plug that in. I was trying to do something really cool and do multiple cameras, but my second camera would not work. So we're going to have one camera. I'm just going to move it around. Thanks, Blounty. You cheer. That's the first time anyone's done that. That's so exciting. Um, this is the first time I've done hardware on a live stream, so I need to get another camera that works, I guess, and figure this out. I'm really excited. Today I'm going to be using the brand new Meadow board. I have one here, and this board will show it in a second. It's all plugged in. We'll start hooking it up. It's the brand new Meadow board from Wilderness Labs. Actually, I forgot to close my office door, and kids are noisy. One sec. All right. And normally, lighting's not too bad. I've got windows open. It's nice and sunny in Alaska today. I'm going to leave my window open as long as it doesn't mess with our lighting too much. So, like I was saying, I've got the Wilderness Labs beta board. This is an early beta. It's not out yet. It's very early and it's awesome though. And I'm loving it. I get to work with C# on this board. And it's really tiny. The dev board's bigger than the ones that are coming out from the Kickstarter campaign. And I was trying to think, what am I going to do with this board? How should I interact with it? What would be the most fun? And I've been working on some stuff in VR, and I thought I have some hardware. I have a Vive tracker here, and I figured let's play with the Vive tracker and let's make it work through Unity with the Meadow board. Then we can do it all in C#. So let me switch over. To do this, I'm just going to aim my camera down because I don't know what else to do since my other one's not working. So we're going to aim this down and we're going to look at my beautiful desk. It's very messy. All right, let me see if I can get this to stabilize. It worked when I was testing it. All right, you can see all my wires everywhere and all my random hardware. Okay, let me switch over to, we're actually going to leave it in this mode for a little bit, and I'm going to show you some of the things I have on my desk. One is a Vive tracker. Most of you probably know what this is, but nothing too fancy. Nice little Vive tracker. The other thing that I have here is this little 3D printed board. What it does has the pogo pins, and then it screws on, and they're just wired in. This allows me to hook into the pogo pins on the back of the Vive tracker and get data in and out or press buttons or whatever. So we're going to use this guy. All nothing really fancy going on there aside from the pogo pins, all 3D printed. And then it does have a rail mount. You'll notice that on here. That rail mount is I found this laser tag gun which has recoil. And I've cannibalized it. As you can see, there's wires everywhere. But I want to build something for in VR that will track. I'll have the trigger, I'll have different buttons that are around this thing, and it'll be live with inside of a game. And then it'll also have the force feedback that this VR gun or that this gun has. I want to tie that in, and that I'm going to take the data from the tracker, pass it through the Meadow, and then we'll be able to activate the recoil. So really fun, cool stuff going on here. Okay, so now that we've got the hardware, let's start wiring this thing up. Once we get it wired, we'll jump over to a code view and we'll interact with it. But starting out, what I'm going to do though, to make this thing work is I have a couple wires already here. One thing going on, this is the ST-Link. This is how I'm actually deploying, communicating with the device. This is only on the debug build. These early builds have these. Everyone else, you won't have to deal with that. So ignore this thing. That is just for these early betas. The only wires I have hooked up aside from that is I've hooked in net ground and positive 3 volts into this breadboard. So that way we can start interacting with it. Okay, so on this Vive tracker, there's a one digital out pin, and that is this blue one. So this blue one, if I plug this into anywhere really, that will be our digital input that we're going to be reading from on the Vive tracker. So we'll use the Meadow to read from that. What I need to do though is I'm also going to need to grab the ground from this Vive tracker. The ground is also needed to We'll need that, so we're going to throw this in here. Okay. I'm also going to throw in a 10K resistor. In order to read this pin out, if I don't use this 10K resistor, it will not work. So similar like you do with buttons, you'll notice I have a button here because I was playing with it. I'm going to make it work pretty much exactly like a button. Actually, I'm just going to move this over to here. Let's grab out a couple of these little jumpers. Oh, I should have opened this ahead of time. Oh, this one's taped. That's all right. I've got a pocket knife. Andy Leatherman. Can't do any of this stuff without a Leatherman. Getting a little dull. As you can see, it's actually having problems cutting through the tape. It's okay. All right, so now we have some jumpers. So I'm going to use the 10K. Okay, let's remember how else I was wiring this up. Okay, I'm going to grab a jumper, and actually let's switch screens so we can see the pinout stuff for this Meadow. That would be useful. All right, so you should now be able to see the Meadow pinout. This is when I first wired it, I was like, it doesn't work. I'm doing something wrong. And it turns out I was wiring it exactly backwards because that's the bottom side of the board. So I want to pay attention. Right now I have the ground and the power, the 3-volt power hooked up. All right. So I'm going to tie into digital 2, which will be the third one over from here. And we will hook the digital ground to there. So that way it's listening. Have the ground here, and I also need to make sure that I pin the ground up as well right over here. Grab one of these little tiny ones. Fit. Yes, that'll be perfect. Go. Oh. All right, so we're gonna get this wired up. Then we'll be able to jump into some code. We'll be able to walk through what I've done. Oops, that's not lined up right. Looking better. All right, so we got a jumper to get ground here. So we have both grounds going in, and we also have our 10K resistor in there. We have our digital input of D2 right here, so we can tie into that. And then we've also got our digital output from the Vive tracker right there. And I think I've got it wired well enough. Actually, we could test it with a button first, but maybe we'll wire the button too, just to make sure I'm not crazy. But I think I've got it right. Okay. Actually, is that right? Yes, that is right. Okay. Double second guessing myself. All right, so let's jump into some code. And also let's look at a couple different things. So I have two different things going here. This is what is required to build and deploy right now. This is the ST util that is actually communicating through that ST link. And you can watch, this is where we'll see the console output of what's going on. Actually we can just restart it all. Run that guy. Well, this guy will now disconnect and be like, what just happened? We'll connect it. Thought I would have quit. All right, so now let's run this. Oh, I forgot the command. I think it is listen. Okay, now I've got to go look up the docs because I totally forgot what that is. Shouldn't have quit it. Wilderness Labs, something like that. Okay, I might have to jump over to, here it is. Okay, guides, go to deploy, and got that. Deploy test app, Mac. Here's the command I needed. Target. Should be able to remember that. So target, that will connect these two together. You'll see they connected. Perfect. Okay, that part is done. Let's jump over to Visual Studio. I was playing stuff, close that. All right, so I have my Meadow Vive project. All this is a brand new .NET standard, or .NET, not standard, .NET console app. It's using, I did have to make sure that I put it into .NET Framework 4.72. And I started by actually just borrowing some of the code from one of the samples. Actually, this is using this sample right here. So this is the button events. That's just a sample that comes from it. I had some extra console.write lines. That's it. So I'm listening on pin 2, and I should just get every time it changes, I should get an input on that. The Vive's not doing anything. Let's actually wire this up to a button as well. So that way we can test that the button is working. Okay, so if not that size, I grab a power, power up here, just move one of those over. Hey, I got another follow. Thank you. That 10,000 watts? Awesome name, perfect while doing hardware hacking. Okay. Of course, I get that noise when I'm bent all the way over trying to shove little wires into a pin. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. All right. So we've got the power going in. What we'll do is we'll wire in. We're just going to move this jumper over. We'll move it back. So we're just listening through the button press. We also need to wire in. I'm just going to grab one if I have. We need the 10 ohm or the 10K resistor tied in as well. So 10K resistor is tied in. So now if this is running, which it's not, the compile does take a minute. So if I just build this, it's build is successful. Let's go over here and I just press C. It will jump over. We'll watch this window start doing lots of fun things. Actually, I can increase this font size. There you guys go. Now you can see what's going on. That's the important, exciting window anyway. Perfect, let that go. So while this deploys, let's look at some of the other code. Let's look at some of the code I want to start writing. So right now I'm just using their built-in button sample. We're just going to use this, the Vive tracker as a button anyway, and that button is going to be should we vibrate? So it's that force feedback. And it'll say true or false based on what's coming in. The nice thing I really like about this API on this is I have events. I can just say like create this pin, send me an event when this thing changes. That is awesome way to write hardware. They also were nice and went and did, you can subscribe. The RX pattern, if that's what you're into, is built right in as well. So really, really, really exciting. Also, some of you probably aren't familiar with my stream if you're just coming over because I'm doing hardware for once. Ask questions. If you want me to do something or show something, I like the interactivity, so feel free to interrupt and say, hey, can we look at this? Or explain something I'm doing. All right, and I'll explain it. I have no problem doing that. So setting up, it's now hooking up the hardware pins. The I/O stuff, this will all be sped up. I'm on a very early build, early access hardware, so it's super fun. We get this warning every time, but I like how they just said, hey, ignore this warning. It's awesome. Okay, so now if I come over and I push this button, I did it right, which it doesn't. Oh, it did. Okay. Normally it's faster than that. Wait, that didn't say change true. Okay, pushing, something's wrong. I've got something wrong. This shouldn't just be true. It should go down to false when I'm not pressing. All right, what do I have wrong here? Let me unplug these guys just in case they were messing with it. All right, so I've got ground coming up through here. Yep, because that goes to the ground, comes up, took the ground side up. I've got positive going through to that. I hooked it up to the right pin, right? That earlier I had them all hooked into the wrong pins, and that was really embarrassing. All right, double check this. We are set on digital both. Perfect, perfect. All right, now I'm gonna totally mess it up now that I'm doing it live. I played this through and made sure I knew what I was doing. Always good to do when you're dealing with new hardware. Let's reset this and run it again. Although it did say it's going. All right, let's reset it. I press the little reset button, come over here, press C to continue. It will redeploy. All right, let me double check everything over here, make sure I'm not crazy with this. I've got ground hooked up to there. That ground is right. While that's deploying, double check pins. Always safe to double check pins. Oops, wrong one. Let's go back. All right, so 2 over is the 3 volt. Perfect. That goes into the positive. That is right. So we have volt. We have there. Then go over 2 more, and that gives me ground. That is also right. All right. So these wires are in there nice and secure. This red one feels floppy. I'll swap it out for a better one. We'll go purple. Doesn't like going purple. All right, it still feels a little floppy. We'll see how that works. All right, so that's going. Yeah, as long as that's the right D2 is over 3, that should be right. Looks good to me. Let's go back and see where we're at on our deploying. Deploying is going. Okay. Ignore these exceptions. We still got about another 30 seconds to a minute. All right, well, that goes. Let's jump over and look at some of the Unity stuff that we'll use to communicate with this. We'll figure out what's going on here, then we'll tie up the Unity stuff, and then we can probably hook up a relay to all of this to hook up to the gun, so that way we can get the force feedback on the gun. Oh, it's almost done. Let's see what's gonna happen. Now listening. That what? It's the wrong one. So setting up. Oh, it's now listening, so it should be done. So let's push the button. Wow, what did I wire wrong? Something has to be wired wrong. Like I said, this has been working all afternoon. Last time I tried it, it was like 5 minutes before I started streaming, and it was working fine. Anyone on the stream see anything obvious I am doing wrong with this? Right, that looks right. Blocking the camera with my head. Okay, good. Make sure. Oh, is this pushed in? Just checking any connection I can. Earlier when I was doing that. Let's remove the positive to stay there. So I have room. Just gonna clear this out like I had it wired earlier. Move extra hops. Make sure it's working here and there. Uh-oh. I did something and it definitely, let's just restart the link. Ah, yes, the link disconnected too. Lights off on it. Hopefully my ST link's not going out. That would be fun. Okay, that's plugged in. Start the board. Okay, my ST link is not lighting up. Those wires came off. I think my ST link is dying, which will make this whole stream very boring. I can't actually deploy to the device. Let me check. That is plugged in well. Well, that's not fun. Should hear the interference going over my headphones with all of these wires stretched everywhere. Okay. Well, my ST link was light up and was working right before we started. When I moved this over, it messed with that, but that shouldn't have mattered. I can double check all my. I've had this thing plugged in all day. All right, well, we might be ending early just because I can't deploy. No, I just noticed my topic's all wrong, but I don't want to tweet telling people to come look if I'm about to stop. Start again. Not start. All right, I'm gonna verify the wiring on my ST-Link. Let's go back over to here. Introductions, not my setup. Getting started, deploy. Okay, let's check this out. Let's unconnect more things just to make sure we're doing this fresh. All right, so let's rewire this. Oh wait, it all came on. Sweet. So let's rewire this. Let's unplug it. Let's wire it and make sure it's right. Okay, said early hardware. I've had really good luck. This is the first time I've had any issues with that. So kind of funny, and of course it's going to be when I'm doing it live. How this stuff always happens. All right, black one goes to there. I'm going to turn on one more light so I can see a little bit better. I'm getting old. Okay. So we got that one plugged in. We've got, let's keep going down this list. Okay, so the next one is the SW. And you guys won't have to deal with any of this when it comes to the real ones that come out soon. I am dealing with all of the early pain, which is what I like to do for some strange reason. It's fun that way. I deal with all the painful stuff, so you guys don't have to. Okay. 3 volt is red one. Goes on right here. Alright, so you guys get to see like the full setup of the early beta kit. Hey, and we're blinking! Yes! Alright, so let's rewire stuff again. So 3 volt, I'm just bringing this back up just to make sure I don't do it wrong, is 2 over, right? We're gonna do 2 over here, so it's not. So 2 over. Did my cable, Brian's just telling me that my cable came unplugged, but I thought I replugged it in like 3 times. So that's could have just been that. Right, reset up from the beginning. I'm okay with that. Go 2 over again. Keep my phone open so that way if Brian tells me any more things that I've totally done wrong, it's very useful. All right. All right, let me jump over. Let's do this. Brian doesn't have a Twitch account, so he's not going to join us in the real stream. All right, so that's going. So let's rewire this up. Make sure my button click's working. Not into the negative. Right there. Perfect, perfect. Now let's do this brown one from D2, which is 3 over. Then we'll plug that right into this side. Perfect. All right, let's redeploy again. All right, so we'll bring that up. Perfect, perfect. Over to here. We'll reconnect. Connect again. Yes. Okay, actually I connected twice. See if it goes. We should have just killed this one. Just gonna kill this one. Okay, and then this was, I forgot the command already, I'm the worst. Deploying an app, back. Target, target, I gotta remember the word target. I'm a lazy developer. I like being able to just press play and let my debugger connect and let it all work. I'm getting failed right. That's connected. Let's kill this thing because something's off. Kill both of these and start them over. Quit. Alright, run that. Lib USB. I'm getting a USB error. USB. Okay, wait. Nope. It might be going now. Invalid flash type. Okay, it says, oh, wait, it's going. Maybe it was telling me all those errors before and I just wasn't paying attention. That out. Gonna connect over. Hey Brian, if you're still there, do you see what the lib USB timeout error thing is? Get both those. Now that that's plugged in, I wonder if I plugged it in wrong. Let me just double verify. Verify I did that right, because oh, it's W and then yeah, goes backwards. Okay, rewire. Something's wired wrong. That should work better. Okay, that's looking better. That was quick. Perfect. Wire things upright, guys. Wire things upright. All right, press continue. It should now deploy. All of this I have not messed up, so all of this will still work. Nope. Should work. I have faith in this code. Hey, Rock Throne, thanks for following. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching someone who's not very good at hardware force their way through it. All right, that's all working better now. I got those confused. Okay, so while that's going, let's jump over, and I have created a new Unity scene, and I was toying with this a lot. Actually, let's go back to, hey, I'm back. That's way too high. We're just gonna do manual adjustments, guys. Sorry, my other camera's dead. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing with this is I've tried a couple different things. So this Vive tracker is really cool, and you can connect to it and do things with it. So you guys, can you see everything? That's kind of okay. No, it doesn't show you the whole screen. Cuts it off like I expect. Wrong window. Ah, buttons. Let me unfull screen this so you guys can see everything I see. We will put this in the right spot. I'm just remoting over to my Windows machine because the Vive hardware really only works on Windows without having a proper GPU, which I don't, and that's not going to resize right anyway. Okay, but now we'll fight in the same window. So I've created a new Vive project, or new project in Unity, and I wanted to do this using the new Steam VR 2.0 stuff. Didn't work. Steam VR 2.0 stuff is a whole new way of tracking. It does lots of different things. I could get it to track the Vive tracker so we could see it and move it around in VR, but I couldn't get it to send anything over to it. The new sending stuff isn't based off of the ID, it's based off a type. You'd say, hey, buzz this type, which is like left hand, right hand, but this isn't a hand. There's game control, and I just could not figure it out. It was driving me crazy. So I downgraded and went to the really old Steam VR plugin 1.3.7, I think it is. And with that one, you were able to specify things over. So we can just build this out for fun. Let's create a, it's not often I get to teach Unity. I'm still a noob at Unity, but this is something I do know. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to add a new game object. We're going to call this thing tracker. Now let's add in a new 3D object. We're going to add a sphere. Actually, I like cubes. Why? I just like that. All right, so let's add in a cube. And this cube, we need to make it really tiny, like 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. This is Just the screen resolution was resized, but we'll deal. All right, so I'm going to add that cube tracker as a child of our tracker. To bring this thing up in the old one, if I do Steam VR like I had there, and I do a tracked object, this is pretty cool. So now I can just leave this. I can change this index automatically, or I can let Steam VR take care of it for me, and it does it right most of the time. It's gotten it wrong if I don't have both my controllers on and my headset. You have to make sure that everything's on in the right order before you turn on the Vive tracker, or it all falls apart. And actually my Vive tracker, okay, it is asleep. So it's asleep, so I've got controllers on. We can now jump over to the camera rig, and there's this element thing here. By default, it's on 0. You'll change it. It's inside of the camera rig, which comes as a prefab from Steam VR. If I go into the controller manager, I can change it to have one additional object. Now I can just drag this tracker in, and it will automatically assign that over. Now, if I do have Steam VR, do I have Steam VR running right now? I do. All right, and only, come on, show me. Okay, both controllers are on now. We can see both of those. And if I turn on my Vive tracker, turn this puppy on. Okay, it's turning on. It's on, it shows up now. Okay, so let's make sure I have that all hooked up right. Let's scroll this stuff back around so I can see and you can see. We're just going to press play there, and my Vive is now working. And the one big issue with this old plugin is look how far away that stuff. Something's really off with the origin stuff. And that moving? No, that's a hand moving. It tied it up wrong. Oh no, that's showing it as a Vive tracker, isn't it? Okay. Where'd my cube go? I don't know. Let's figure out what's going on. There's something really weird going on there. Because that showed me as a view cube tracker. Let's debug that again, and let's look at the scene and see what's going on in the scene. I love this about Unity, how I can expand things out. Press, so here are my two controllers. They are moving, right? Yay! Okay, now let's look over and put this, okay, it is working. I don't know why it was off at first, but it's caught up now. So oh, you can't see what's going on here. So I have the Vive tracker. Let me change the view. So weird trying to show someone VR from not in VR and make sure it all works. So now, and it's so far away. I can zoom that in. Zoom. Wow, those look pixelated. But you can see, yay, as I'm in the camera now. Yeah, so as I move this thing around, it's connected. Kind of fun. All right, so that's connected. Let's set this down. The new stuff, you don't have any of this. It all works right with the scale. This just gets way off for some reason with the Unity stuff. Actually, while that's going, it says it's now listening. Button's not working. Can think of is something's wrong with getting power to there. I don't know why that would. Okay, that just crashed it. Something's loose over here because when I move stuff, it just totally crashed again. What did I move that crashed it? Why do I keep crashing it? I'm just gonna wiggle some wires and see what crashes it. It seemed like it was that. Do I have this plugged in? So I am getting power in, right? Yep, that blinked the light. I am getting power in. Going on with that. Let's start that all over again with the listening. Reconnect that. Press C. Start your deploy. All right. I wonder. And I'd been working on this without any issues at all. That hooked in. I should be able to just like jump it and full on give it power straight up into there, and that should toggle it. So that would eliminate the button being the issue. That shouldn't matter. All right, let's let that deploy again. Let's jump over to here to my tracker stuff, and I want to be able to tie in to send over an event. So that way, oh, I did not move my camera. So you had to sit there and stare at my belly. I am sorry about that. Not used to two cameras, or not having the two cameras for this. Okay, so we're going to jump over, and I created a script, yes, called tracker helper that we're just going to add into this tracker cube. This thing will show, it shows up here. It's a really, really simple script. What it does, oh, that is small. Trying to remember the right way to do it from a Mac keyboard. Nope, 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 not the magnifier. Nope. Nope, that didn't do it. Bump the font size from a Mac keyboard, remote it in. I have no idea how to do that. Should be a hotkey or something though. Okay, I'm not seeing it. I should know that. And okay. Click. Way to increase the font size that way. Okay, either way, I was going to update my topic. So that way, let's create a new one for our topic. Right now we are. Oh, I need to quote this thing. Perfect. All right. Dream Helper will now go and run its thing and update everybody. It looks like it didn't tweet because something's off. Oh, it didn't like the image. So it tweeted without an image. I need to figure out what's going on with my image stuff. Okay, tweeting worked, just no images. Okay, so let's see if that deployed. If it deployed, it's listening. Let me push the button. Just going to, okay, unplugging that. It is listening on that. Something's going on there. Okay, something's going on because I can manually touch the two wires. Let me aim you guys back down so you can see what I'm doing. Remember to do that. Okay, so I am toying with these, and if I manually touch the wires, it's going. So why in the world is it not working with my button? Something wrong with that jumper. That was required. Okay, well, it's obviously working when I touch them together. We're getting our button toggle, so that is really interesting. I wonder if my button has failed on me somehow from the time I started to now. That could very well be the problem. Okay, so it's deploying and it's running now what we want it to run. Okay, perfect. Let's jump back over to our Vive. I'm going to set that right there. Now, when this thing's running, we have our Vive tracker code. This window. We have this up. What it does is it's really hard to read, and I apologize because I don't know how to zoom this thing in. Actually, I can do Mac zoom. All right. Code is pixelated, but what it does is it grabs our tracked object, and from the tracked object, it will create a Steam controller input and tell it to trigger haptic pulse. When that happens, we will see this light on here pulse white. So we'll know what's happening because it just lights up and tells us it's doing it. And I told it right now every 5 seconds. Let's put it on like 2 seconds. All right. So I'm going to zoom this back out so I can see what's going on. Let's jump back to Unity. This is really hard to use the wrong keyboard through a terminal or through remote desktop. Really messes with things. All right. So I can't see where my play button is because camera's over it, hanging down. So let's press play. We should now see things going on, and we should see this start to blink. And it's not blinking, is it? Not associated in? Not seeing it there. Let's jump over to Steam VR, see what's going on. Oh, one of the controllers disconnected. Okay, we're gonna have to stop and start because if it's all out of whack, it doesn't work. Alright, so let's press play again. Cube is moving. Perfect. And it's blinking. It's blinking. Alright. So we've got that working. Let's jump back to a nice full screen so you guys can see the hardware and see what's going on here. So now it's blinking. We are definitely working right there. Let's tie in and see if we can hook this in to where it will work. Okay, before when I've done this, I needed to have a nice clean signal. Let's just plug these two in together and see if it will trigger it. It shouldn't. Oh, our light stopped blinking. Our light stopped. Did I pause this? Something happened because I don't see a light blinking. Did Unity lock up? That would be funny. Everything is working against me today, guys. Everything. It looks like Unity is not happy. Come on! Come on! Alright, let's kill Unity and restart this thing. Because, of course, why not? Make this full screen so I can see what's going on this. Unity going on. Let's end that. Let's restart Unity again. That one was called Tracker Test. It is so funny how this happens. Every time you go to stream or show this stuff off, it's like, I tried ahead of time, make sure I knew what I was doing. Everything worked great. It was beautiful. I could do this all, and now I show you guys and it all falls apart. Right, so my sample scene is reset to nothing. We get to do this all over again. I didn't save for some strange reason, because who saves, right? All right, so let's throw that out there. Let's create a new empty object. That camera is really annoying where it's at. Oh, we're on full screen. You can't see my screen. Let's go back to code. All right. So I can't stop or start Unity for some reason. It was just not happy. Yeah, it locked up. Oh, so we are going to redo this again. We're going to save this time before we start playing with it. And be down so I can see what's going on. Having a camera hanging down way over your screen is really not cool, not optimal. All right, so we're going to add a cube in here again. We're going to put it back to nice and tiny. Okay, let's zero this out. Okay, we're now going to put the cube in the tracker. We're going to add to our tracker. We're going to do Steam VR tracker, tracked object. We're also going to go and add what? Okay, well, for some reason it doesn't, my code's gone too. How is the code gone? I've never seen Unity delete code. Ever. All right, well, let's do it again. So you get to see it all from scratch because craziness is happening. Okay, new script. This is called yeah, tracker helper. Wait, it already exists. Well, where is it? Okay. So it didn't delete it, it just disappeared somehow. Let's go back to our camera rig, make sure we add in one more object. Oops. I don't know, was that checked or unchecked? Reset. I don't know if that was checked or up. Okay, we'll put this back to 1. Let's do track. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What you doing, Unity? Okay, something's off with my select keys. I can't drag. Okay, I can now. But it first selects off of there. Okay, that was really weird. Okay, so now we have a tracker. It has things, and it should pulse. So let's run this again. Both my controllers are on, my headset's on. This little guy moves, that's what we want to see, and it pulses. All right, we'll go back to hardware again. Let's jump over. Hey, showing false, false, false. Okay, this is what and a true pops up every once in a while. But you see how it's not clean? It doesn't seem to stop pulsing again. We're not getting a clean signal. That's why I had this tied in here. We have our ground. We are going to this little guy in here. For some reason, Unity is freaking out on me today. So we are going to just wire this up, and then we're going to say goodbye to Unity, and we'll run it one more time, make sure it works. So I should now be able to tie this into the ground. Tie that in. You are going to come and listen right here. And you are going to listen right here. Perfect. All lined up. That should now work. Now let's jump over and fight Unity again. Hey, and it stopped freaking out like it should. Let's see what's going on in Unity. Come on. I didn't save first either, guys. I forgot to save. Twice. All right, at least I know how to do this, so I can do that nice and fast. Third time is a charm. Third time's a charm. Let's go back to code. If you guys want to watch me do this a third time, why not? You're still here, so I'm guessing you do. Except all. It's always going to tell me that because this is personal, not professional. Down so I can see. Whoa. Come back, Unity. Come back. All right, so we're just going to do this here. Let's do create new empty object. Let's name you tracker. Let's go and grab or add you a cube so we know what's going on. 3D cube. 1.1.1. We're going to assign you it. Doing it again, doing the weird zoom thing. It must be that I'm remote desktoping. It doesn't like that. That is the key difference. I'm now remote desktoping when before I wasn't. All right, so let's do tracker helper. We're going to add Steam VR tracker as well. Tracked object. All right, done. Let's go grab our prefab. Throw our camera rig in there. Can't remember if we need Steam VR as well for those. For some reason I think you're supposed to. We didn't last time and it worked. But oh, okay. Throw that in there. Drag. Don't do that on me. Come on. Yeah, it is. Ooh, whoa, wrong button. Now I have no idea where that went. Yeah, we don't want you there. Come back out. Oh, come on. Open prefab. Good. We're not doing something with the prefab. Go back. Just undo. See if it'll let me undo that because I did not want to drag my tracker into there. Okay, so we have that. I might have to switch over to really do. Actually, if I move my mouse all the way over, these machines these machines have Synergy installed, so now my mouse is on the right machine, and maybe that will work better. I just gotta remember to go all the way to get it back. All right, so it's still doing. Sometimes pounding your Alt and Shift and Windows keys fixes things like it just did. All right, now we have that. We should now see controllers are still on. Everything's still connected. If I press play, we should watch the hardware light start blinking. But right, I do not see blinking. Do I see this? This is not moving. Unity locked up again. I don't have anything debugging with breakpoints, close the Visual Studio stuff. Yeah, well, Unity is not going to cooperate with us, guys. This works. I tested it and was running it, and it was pulsing, which was turning this true. And from there, we were going to wire this thing up to a relay to trigger this gun. We can do the wiring and trigger it from a button press. I need to swap out my buttons. We can do that if you guys want to continue. Nothing too fancy going on here. We can switch to that. And everything is playing so nice with me today. All right, let's jump back over. Let's wire this button up. We're going to say goodbye, Unity. You have failed us today. It's really sad. Really didn't want to do that. Okay, we'll jump back to our hardware view. Let's goodbye, Vive Tracker. You can go sit in the corner. I shouldn't take it on the Vive Tracker. It behaved. It was very good. Okay, so now in here, we could have just tied this in over here. Where are we at? We have ground going to there. Listening going to there. Okay, so that should be fine. I have you the right way, right? Now I'm trying to remember on these. Okay. Which way do I think it goes this way. Okay. No, that goes on the wrong side. So you're gonna come over to here. You're tied into, that'll work. Let's grab one for power, which we have handily just sitting there. Let's check what's going on in our output. Hey, our button press is working! Man, button failure. Button failure. You can definitely go to the corner. Bad button. All right, so now we have a button that when we press it, it activates something. Well, right now it just console.writeLines. Hey, I did something. So what we're going to do is let's grab a relay. I have one of those sitting in this box. So, nope, not this one. This is my old route. That one's got a bad side. All right, brand new relay, just opened it. We've got a relay. What we'll do is we will tie this guy in, tie in our gun, just to verify this thing does work. Let's just stick it into the 5 volt, and 5 volt should do it. I'm going to hop over to my handy. Oh, you guys didn't see the code when I was showing it work. Let me go back. I apologize. So one of my chat windows is not updating. I'm missing chat messages. There it goes. Yes, look at this mayhem, Sweeky. I am going crazy over here. Okay, so we've got this hooked up. Now I'm going to jump over and look at, okay, let's press the button. Button presses work. It's not doing anything crazy. Nice, button presses work. Let's jump back over to our docks. Our 5 volt is 3 down from the other side. So on this side, if I go 1, right, I'm on the right side. No, yeah, USB side, yep. Go down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. As soon as I plug this in, you can hear the gun start freaking out. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so we're not going to do that yet. But we know it works. Let's hook this relay up. Where'd my little screwdriver just go? Got it. Perfect. These little screwdrivers from the Nests, when you get the Nest thermostats, I love them. They're my favorite. All right, so let's hook this relay up to here. So when we push the button, it's going to activate the relay, make the gun go, and we'll pretend that it was really the Vive doing it, since Unity won't stop crashing on me. All right, do I have the right connectors? No, I need one other type of connector really quick. Find the right wires. Okay, I've got one of these. These are what I needed. Perfect. All right. So on this one, I have found. Okay, so we're gonna need to hook that one up to the 5 volts as well. We'll just grab a red one for power. So we're gonna grab a power